Welcome to Game Day Live, everybody. I'm joined by Drew Forder, former Cron 4 associate and co-host of the Dre Area Sports Show. And guys, today we're here to bring you all the latest news and updates coming out of Santa Clara, at this point coming out of Las Vegas concerning the San Francisco 49ers, as we lead you up to kickoff at 1:05 against the Las Vegas Raiders at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. Drew, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing great, man. It's really fun to see this team, have a good week of practice. I've heard from what I've been hearing, it was a lot better than the week against the Broncos. So I know they've had some injuries, but getting a chance to see McCaffrey out there, George Kittle, and some of our big guns, it makes me feel a little bit better about the situation. I know last week, the week before, I probably felt a lot better, but now we're starting to see a lot of injuries, and it makes me a little worried.
A lot of injuries, and we talked about this yesterday on my other show, which is Cover 3 that I do with Sterling Bennett and Aaron for Fernandez First Takes. But here's the thing when it comes to the injuries. We're going to go over a whole litany of injuries that took place that were updated as of yesterday. But at the same time, I think a lot of these injuries, I think the players will be playing through them if this was a regular season. But because it's not the regular season, we can emphasize how many injuries there are. But most of these, I think they play through. I think if today was actually game day, like on the regular season, I think Mykel Williams, he suits up and he plays. CJ West, I'm not sure because it just happened a couple of days ago. But a guy like Mykel Williams, I think he's out there playing. And a lot of these guys.
I think Watkins would be out there also.
Watkins is probably going to be out there. I think Watkins has already proven to Shanahan, the coaching staff, that they trust his abilities. They trust what he can do. And so that's why they said, hey, you're going to shut you down for the rest of the month. We want to make sure that you're healthy for week one. I don't want to take any chances. And you can see that throughout the entire roster is that they're really focusing on, you got an injury, sit out. We're not going to push it. We're not going to force you out there. If this is a regular season, that's different. But because of the fact that it's preseason, hey, take your time, get ready, get well, and, get ready for week one. What's up, Absolutely. 49ers 25? What's going down, man? Good to see you.
Thanks for joining the show, bro. I think the other thing to keep in mind is that Kyle Shanahan does not care about preseason.
No,
we have seen that since 2017. I mean, since he's been the head coach of this team, he doesn't feel like it's, he's going to get a lot out of playing his starters. I mean, you will see Brock Purdy for, I believe, at least 10 to 15 snaps today. You might see him for maybe even 2 series, depending on how long the first series lasts. If they're able to get a first down, if they're able to get down the field a little bit. I don't know if you're going to see much more than that. And then next week against, a team like Jim Harbaugh's team where, who knows who's going to play for that? Who knows who's going to play for the Chargers next week? But I do believe you'll see Purdy for maybe even a quarter or more next week. But if I don't think you're going to see McCaffrey.
No, you will not see.
Why would you see McCaffrey, right?
I mean, and 49ers asked the question: is Trent playing? No, he will not play today. And yes, we are going to see more of Spencer Burford. And I think we're also going to see more of Connor Colby, a little bit of Drew Moss. And my hope is that Drew Moss can take over for Jake Brendel at one point this season. Yeah. I'm not convinced that Jake Brendel is the answer at center. But, yeah, we are going to see more Spencer Burford. He's been really slow. He's been really bad. And that's one of the topics that we are going to talk about is the offensive line. But before we get to that, I did want to bring up this post by the Niners. Brock Purdy, as Drew said, will be suiting up today for his first preseason game. And there's some images of the locker room as they get ready to take the field against the Las Vegas Raiders. And on top of that, we knew that he was going to take the field. Kyle Shanahan said it himself, saying Brock Purdy and some of the starters are expected to play this Saturday against the Raiders. Purdy being one of them. Obviously, we're not going to see Christian McCaffrey because the fact that no fifth gear. What's up, Dylan? We had Dylan on the show a couple weeks ago.
Dylan, by the way, shout out Dylan. I saw your post about the broadcasters for the Giants. That was incredible, man. And Dylan puts out some great content.
Great content.
Really enjoyed that.
And Dylan has fallen from grace he's now under the impression that it's over for the Giants. He's come to the realization like it's over. He went to the game. He went to the game the other day. He's like, "Hey, I'm going today," and it was the game they got blown out. It was the day game.
11-1. Yeah,
11-1. I kept thinking, I was like, "Damn, Dylan's there right now." Just like
if Dylan is saying they're done, they are done. Because Dylan is Mr. Positive.
He really is.
He will find like anything positive to come out of a freaking 1-9 homestand, which is what they're about to have. And it's like, yeah, Dylan, I agree, man. It's so. Oh, and it was his birthday too.
I know.
Man. God damn.
The Giants sent him an email with Willie Adames like on it, and it said, "Happy birthday, Dylan." I was like, they put that fucking guy on there? Come on, man. At least put Rafi Devers to give you some hope. The Giants,
cumpleaños from Rafael Devers.
Dude, the Giants are. Yeah, they're 5 games out, like Matt Chapman said. Anything could happen, but the way they're playing, they're not even doing the fundamentals correctly. I know that they re-upped Bob Melvin, but like I'm starting to believe that he needs to go.
He's gonna be gone.
They're not smoking what he's rolling. They're just not buying into anything that he's doing, and so I think Buster has to have a hard look in the mirror and think about, is this the guy that's going to resurrect this team going in? Is he the right guy for next season? And now, I would say no.
And I think just to quickly just go through this, I think that you might see somebody like Aaron Boone available next year. And I'm not saying that Aaron Boone is a great manager by any stretch, but if the Yankees continue to flounder like they've been floundering, I mean, shit, you might see Carlos Mendoza available.
Yeah,
the Giants are not the only team that are free falling right now.
No, they're not.
You've got 2 teams in New York. You've got a couple teams. The Houston Astros have really been struggling. They almost got basically perfect gamed last night by the Baltimore Orioles. Seattle's really come up in the AL West, and you may have a few managers to choose from next year. And Buster Posey's going to have a huge choice to make, and I think he will. I do think a lot of people have been asking me this week if Bob Melvin will survive the season. I do believe he will survive the season. I don't see a point to fire him mid-season, but I do think that you'll see a new manager for the San Francisco Giants next year.
I know they re-upped him for 1 more year, but they don't care about that. I've seen how many coaches have we seen on baseball, basketball, or even football get fired with multiple years left in their contract? They don't care. It doesn't come out of the salary caps. They're like, "Oh, we're spending money on this idiot. I don't care. Make him go away." But last night, I mean, look, bases loaded, no outs. They don't score. They got a runner at third at the end of the game, pop up. That's where the game ended. I stayed up last night to watch that game because I had to do inventory at my work today and tomorrow. I get home at 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, well, let me just watch the Giants game. I wish I didn't do that. I was like, oh man, why did I watch this? This is brutal.
Well, it's the one night in this entire homestand that they score some runs. They actually scored some runs. They scored early. They added on. They had a 6-3 lead going into the 4th inning. And, of course, Landon Root couldn't hold it. The bullpen comes in. Gage, who hasn't given up any runs all season, gives up 2 runs to tie the game. And then from then on, it's like you just said, they had the bases loaded, nobody out. Bailey can't get it done. And then 2 horrible at-bats to follow. And then in the last of the last inning, they couldn't hold it. And then they had nothing left after that. And you just can see that the momentum has completely died on this team. They've got nothing left in the tank. They have to go to San Diego and Milwaukee this week. So I think it's
San Diego
safe to
swept
say,
their asses too. They were like, yeah, good night.
I think it's safe to say, dude, that good thing Niners football is kind of ramping up right now. I mean, shit, I'd even rather talk about Jonathan Kuminga than talk about the San Francisco Giants right
Kuminga. He's like, I want a contract. Okay, so let's get back on track with the 49ers. There was this bit of news that came out of Las Vegas this morning. Let me see if I can pull this up. There was a sighting on the sidelines, not by a UFO. I know Las Vegas is near Area 51, but a sighting of, where is it? None other than Juwan Jennings was seen walking into the stadium. There he is with the blue hair. Maybe he's by himself. Maybe those are his friends. I'm not sure, but he's walking awkwardly behind them. So
let's see. Does he have a limp? I can't see.
I know his calf is killing him.
How's that calf injury look?
at least he's there to support his team. But we talked about this last night. I don't believe that this calf injury is a real thing. Mm-mm. Or at least to the extent that's keeping him out. I think he had a calf injury and he's nursing it. But if it wasn't for his contract issue, he'd be on the field doing drills on the side or, practicing. I think this is him doing a hold-in, but trying to do it respectfully because he saw the backlash of what happened to Brandon Ayuk. I don't want to do what Brandon Ayuk did and then go out there and hurt myself, right? And then everyone fucking hates me. He doesn't want to do that. He wants to say, well, I'm hurt. I have a calf injury. And listen to this. If his calf injury is legitimate, then why in the fuck would I offer him a contract when this guy has an ailing calf injury? We all know, Bay Area fans all know what happens when players have calf injuries. Kevin Durant all of a sudden tore his Achilles. Is that going to happen here? We've seen so many calf injuries. Tyrese Halliburton. So what? Yep. If he does have a severe calf injury and we go, okay, hey, JJ, we'll give you the money. We'll give you a contract. We'll pay you $22 million a year. And then he goes out there and blows his Achilles. Now we got 2 bum receivers with bad legs. No, no. And here's my question I want to ask you, Drew. Do you think the Niners should offer him a new contract? Should they trade him? Or should they just say, no, we're not doing this. It's not the time. When you're ready and healthy, get out there and practice.
No, this is not the time. Get out there. We're ready to practice. They should not trade him. I don't believe that they should trade Juwan Jennings. I think Juwan Jennings is a huge part of this organization, of this team. I think, again, I've said this on the air. He was the best player in the Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs.
He was.
He would have been the MVP if they won that game. He is I believe, a really wonderful teammate. From everything I've heard, again, I don't know the guy off the field. He kind of looks like he didn't look very impressive as he was walking on the field right there. He looked like a concession worker to me. But this guy, he's obviously an important part of our team. But I think the Niners learned a lot from last year. I think they learned a lot from the Brandon Ayuk situation. Like you mentioned, they don't need to force the issue right now and make a decision that they are going to regret. And I don't think it's just about the calf injury. I think it's show me what you can do on the field. Last year was a bad year for everybody. This team was just, JJ had some good games early in the season. He had that great game against the Rams in LA. But other than that, I wasn't that impressed with him, okay? I still think of him sometimes as just a third down receiver, as the guy that they're throwing the ball to on 3rd and Juwan, as this Greg Papa always says. And just shout out to Greg Papa, who's going through cancer treatment right now. And,
oh, yeah.
I've had the privilege of getting to know him over the years, and I've met him several times. And Guy Haberman will be covering for him on TV today, and will be probably doing most of the season on the radio with Tim Ryan on KMBR. So just a shout out to Greg Papa.
I don't see Papa coming back at all this season. If he's dealing with cancer, take your time, get healthy, and do what you got to do. I mean, they were like, Haberman will be here just for temporarily. Like, no, just take your time. Don't even say that. Just take your time, dude.
But I just wanted to shout him out because I know that, he's a huge part of 49er football now. But they coined it 3rd and Juwan, him and Tim Ryan. And like that is still what I envision from him. So I don't see him as a $22 million receiver. I don't see him as a $29 million receiver. I was like, they paid Brandon Ayuk. I just don't see it. So they really need to be careful. I think it's a good sign that he's there right now, that he's with the team. Mm-hmm. What I think they may do is they may look at some sort of a short-term contract for him. To be able to at least get him through this season or maybe into next season, and then give him a chance to look at free agency. But I don't think it would be beneficial or smart for this organization to give him a long-term deal right now.
And so this was a post by Kevin Kruger. This is the son of the great Larry Kruger. Yep. And he put this out there. We talked about this yesterday on Cover 3. This is where Juwan Jennings ranks among wide receivers in APY. Now, you look around him, you look at Kendrick Bourne, Brandon Cooks, Rome Odunze, and Drake London. I think he fits right in with that group. Obviously, some of these guys are on rookie contracts, but I think that Jennings, after last season was his most productive season. And then obviously what he did in the Super Bowl and the playoffs helped a lot as well. But this is an undrafted receiver. This is a guy that wasn't, a highly sought after receiver. And look, I love Juwan Jennings. I think he's great. I love having him on the team. But this is not a guy. He's not dynamic enough to receive a big contract. Now, let's say you paid him, like what Kevin's saying here, $22 million a year.
Yeah.
Look who's around him. You got Terry McLaurin, Devontae Adams, Chris Godwin, Stephon Diggs. These are all guys that I would argue that I'd want over Juwan Jennings. Maybe not Devontae Adams, but the other guys, I would take them over Juwan Jennings. No offense to Juwan Jennings, but I just don't see Juwan as being that much of a dynamic receiver that he's going to change the offense dramatically. Now, third and Juwan, yeah, he's a big, tall receiver, tough guy. He blocks, he makes contact. He's really good at finding those soft spots, but he's not a burner. He's never going to take you deep. There's limitations to his game, and so that's why I argue, is he even a guy that you give a massive contract to? And can you even afford to? The fact that you already gave Brandon Ayuk his big contract, the only reason why he's doing this is because he's watched the Niners cave year after year after year. Nick Bosa, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Trent Williams. He's figuring, hey, you know what? They're in a deficit right now. They're short on receivers. This is my chance to get some money. This is my chance to get a payday. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, I think we have bigger needs right now than wide receiver, and I like our young wide receiver core right now. I'm a huge fan of Ricky Pearsall. I think he's going to have a great season. I mean, I don't know if he's going to be a Pro Bowler, but I think Niner fans should be really excited about Ricky Pearsall and, year 2, having a full training camp. I know he had a little bit of an injury there early on, but, he'll be at full strength going into the season, which he definitely wasn't last year after he got freaking shot. So, and he had an injury coming in through training camp also last year. So, no, I agree with you. I'd rather have Terry McLaurin right now. If you could trade him for Terry McLaurin, I'd do it in a heartbeat. I think McLaurin's more of a deep threat. I think he's had more experience. I think he's a better possession receiver. I think he's a better route runner. I think Juwan Jennings can be clunky at times with his routes. I think he's a clutch player. I think he's a really, I think he has the clutch gene in him. And I also love his passion and his energy. And on the sidelines. So I do not dislike Juwan Jennings at all. But to think about making him and putting him into that category that Kruger was talking about of $22 to $25 million a year is asinine. It does not make sense to me with the current state of the organization. We need a freaking backup tackle right now.
Yes.
We need offensive linemen. We still need help at the linebacker position. We might need help in the secondary. We've got injuries to Mustafa. We've got injuries to Renardo Green. We've got, we've got guys that right now are unknowns still, young players that are unknowns.
And talking about the offensive line, I mean, we've seen the disparity they have right now, especially at tackle. Spencer Burford just got absolutely taken by Benito. Yep. Benito. It was 3 plays in a row that he just completely devastated Spencer Burford. And then on top of that, Luke Farrell, the guy that they signed, the tight end they signed, because he's a good blocking tight end. He doesn't even get the block down on Benito. Benito ran right by him like, hey, what's up? I'm going to go sack your quarterback now. And so he looks so bad. Spencer Burford looks so bad. I was saying last night, I felt like fucking you and I could have got past him. He's not quick-footed whatsoever. He could not stop Benito. And so how does that fare? If Trent Williams goes down with the injury, is Spencer Burford really the answer at left tackle? I don't think so. And on top of that, Austin Pleasant's your other tackle. He looked awful too. Now look,
he was horrible.
It's only been one preseason game, but still, they need to figure this out because there is not a lot of options there at the tackle position. And then they activate Andre Dillard, former Philadelphia Eagle. Like,
and he gets hurt.
And he gets hurt. He lasted 2 practices. This is the guy they signed in the offseason. He lasted 2 practices, and now he's done for the year. A complete waste of money.
A former first-round pick.
Look, God bless him. I hope he has a speedy recovery. But as a fan, this fucking sucks because they spent money on this guy and he's not even going to play this season. That was a waste.
It's like remnants of the past with Trent Baalke and these guys that they draft, with Achilles injuries or ACL injuries, and they don't even play. So the Niners, to answer your question,
thank you, Strawberry.
The Niners honestly have so many other, I feel, needs right now that they need to address. It's also going back to the situation from last year and how Brandon Ayuk and Trent Williams, God love Trent Williams because we can't win without him. Everybody says it. We can't win without him. And it's probably true. We can't win without him. But they kind of took the Niners hostage last year towards the end of the offseason and made it about them, not about the team, about them. And then Brandon Ayuk goes out and he misses a touchdown catch against the New York Jets in week 1. Okay.
Brutal.
He goes out there and he drops a touchdown pass. We win a game that, again, we didn't look that good. And then he gets hurt not long after. A couple weeks later, he's done. And that was our big money wide receiver last year that was supposed to be the man. And it did not work out. And it set us back. And it not only set us back financially within our organization, but it set the team back morale-wise. It set them back as far as the chemistry of the team. And we saw it. We saw it. We saw it with Deebo Samuel last year. Mm-hmm. We saw how people felt resentful against Brandon Ayuk, against this whole organization, how they allowed Trent Williams to basically just be on a cruise ship up until the last day of training camp. And then the dude rolls in like 50 pounds overweight and out of shape. And he also gets hurt. So what does that say about this situation? Be patient, let it play out, and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, anything is better than what happened last season. I mean, that was rough.
Last season was a rough year, Dre. And I don't want to talk about last season too much because to me, that was not indicative of this organization and where they are headed and where they are currently. There were some circumstances, starting with the Super Bowl hangover and starting with Dre Greenlaw getting hurt in the Super Bowl, and then from there it was a tidal wave. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's not going to happen this year. I believe this team will make the playoffs, but they need to be smart about this situation with Juwan Jennings. They don't want to let this situation take away from the other areas of the team and the positives going into the season.
Absolutely. Guys, I just posted the link for the Patreon. If you want to join the Patreon, help support the channel, the link is right there in the chat. Click on that. They start as low as, I think, $1 or $2, and you get access to all the 49er updates, news, articles written by Drew and myself. Definitely check out the Patreon over on patreon.com or use that link that I put in the chat. There is a link in the description as well. And join the Patreon to help support the channel. You can also do so by going to my own website, which is nicotina.net. The link is in the chat. Link is in the description. And there's memberships available on there as well. So whatever you can do to support the channel, I really, really, really appreciate that. But moving forward, let's take a look at the injuries that we're dealing with here. So these were just the latest injuries that came up this past Friday. I should say Thursday, from Kyle Shanahan. Nick Bosa has neck soreness, and they hope to have him back next week. I think if this is game day, he's going to play.
Oh, yeah.
But there's no point in rushing him out.
I don't want to see Nick Bosa all preseason if he's healthy.
I don't either. Jason Pinnock and Trey Brown both have heel injuries. I'm sorry, if this was the regular season, they'd be playing as well. Ben Barch has an elbow. I'm concerned about that because I know they want to give Ben Barch a shot at right guard, but this guy can't stay healthy. His entire career, he has been able to stay healthy. So again, this is par for the course when it comes to Ben Barch of not being able to stay on the field. So again, Connor Colby is going to get a shot at right guard. And the way this is going, he's probably going to end up being the starter because Ben Barch just cannot stay healthy. And of course, the big injury, which is CJ West, left practice with the Niners after a hyperextension of his knee. So this is the same injury that Mykel Williams suffered just the other day. It had him out a week. This is the regular season. I don't know if he plays or not because I don't know the severity of the hyperextension, but I think that Mykel Williams would have played today if this was the regular season. But again, a lot of injuries, But these are all ticky-tack injuries. These aren't injuries that these guys are going off on IR or are going to be out several months, or whatnot. We do have some of those. Kevin Givens, pectoral injury, he's going to be out for a while, he said. Understandable. Malik Mustafa recovering from his ACL, going to be out for a while. Understandable. Brandon Ayuk and so forth. But guys like Nick Bosa, Michael Williams, CJ West, these guys are going to be ready for week 1. Now, anything can happen in week 1, knock on wood, but they're going to be ready. And I think that a lot of content creators and media, they're making a big deal about these injuries because what else are they going to talk about? Let's talk about Nick Bosa's physique. No, they're injuries. Yeah. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Well, this is something that we hear about every year, Trey. I mean, if you just rolled it back to the last year's calendar, we were talking about the same thing. We were talking about injuries. You go back the year before, injuries, and it's always the injuries going into week 2 of the preseason or week 3, and that we're kind of foreshadowing if they're going to make it to week 1. I'm not concerned about any of those injuries that you listed. I'm a little concerned about CJ West just because of how good he looked in week 1 of the preseason. I thought he was, I thought he and Siegel, I thought they were the 2 standouts.
Yes.
In that preseason game to me. And I thought, those are guys that are going to make an impact on this team this year. Michael Williams, obviously I haven't seen him yet. We haven't seen him. But I'm not concerned. I feel like Michael Williams is another kind of, the way I'm thinking about Bosa, it's like, go get the quarterback. It's like that. It's like, it's like a dog. Stick him. That's the way I look at it with these guys, with these edge rushers. It's like, go get the quarterback. And this guy, Michael Williams, from everything I've heard, he's a great kid. He's got the agility. He's got the speed. He's got the strength. And yeah, it's going to be a learning curve if he doesn't get any reps in the preseason, which it doesn't look like it's going to happen. But you know what? That's fine. Go ahead and go out there, and if you're available against the Seattle Seahawks in week 1 in a game that is going to be really important for this team, to be able to go out there and get pressure on Sam Darnold and really get him out of his comfort level. And we've seen Sam Darnold when he's pressured, what he looks like. So he's seen ghosts in the past. Get some pressure on the quarterback, and I'm hoping that we see all these guys. As far as the offensive line goes, I'm concerned. I'm at a level now of concern from what I've seen from Burford, from what I don't know of as far as Trent Williams. I don't really know how he's feeling. I hope he's feeling great, but you never really know. And a guy like Colton McKivitz, how confident are you in him at this point? A lot of people think that he's looks great and he's made some strides and gotten in better shape this offseason. But, I don't know. I don't know until I see it. And that's the one thing that does scare me a little bit about the way Kyle Shanahan deals with the preseason is that you don't know. You don't know what George Kittle looks like. You don't even know what McCaffrey really looks like. So we'll see.
We'll see. And, we did. Kyle Shanahan did touch on Christian McCaffrey, saying that he looks as fast and as quick as he did in 2023. That's great to hear. But what's he going to say? No, he looks a lot slower. What?
He's one hit away from.
You guys, don't hold your breath. Strawberry Reacts writes, "Thank you. The harping on injuries by the fans implying the 49ers don't warm up or stretch before practice is dumb." Okay, this whole narrative that they don't do any stretching, or they don't stretch enough, or they don't do warm-ups. So that is just jargon. That's just, let me bring up something to drum up controversy. And we know the guys who do that. And so, look, that's just a bunch of bullshit. I wouldn't put any merit into any of that because at the end of the day, it doesn't mean anything. It's like, let's talk about their practice habits. It's like Allen Iverson. We're talking about practice. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here? Come on, get the fuck out of here. It's just ridiculous.
I agree with Strawberry. It's and there's not a lot to talk about right now. Other than probably Juwan Jennings, which is now kind of becoming on the back burner. Like, you're not hearing as much about it because it's like, okay, dude, either get with the program or get left in the dust at this point, because I don't think you're getting the big contract that you think you're getting. And then, other than that, it's these injuries. I think what we should be talking about, again, is our offensive line and if we're going to hold up, because we just freaking, gave money to our quarterback and we need to protect him. That to me is the number one. If you read my article a few weeks ago, The number one priority this year is keeping Brock Purdy healthy. You keep that man healthy. If he plays 80 to 90% of the games this year, this team will make the playoffs. If he doesn't, this team will not make the playoffs. That is the way I look at this season. I think Brock Purdy is more important than Christian McCaffrey. I know people ream me for that and put me on a, freaking crucify me for saying that. No, the quarterback is always the most important player on a football team. Look around the league, okay? You take away the top quarterbacks, those teams suck. You take away Patrick Mahomes, obviously, that team doesn't even sniff the playoffs. You take away Josh Allen, that team is not good. You take away Lamar Jackson, that team is not good. You take away Sam Darnold, the Seahawks go 1-16. So let's really just think about the priorities. And our offensive line is scary. It scares me to think that guys are going to be coming from the left side and are going to be hitting Brock Purdy or making Brock Purdy, move and really, get into situations that he's not going to be comfortable with. And that's what is my biggest concern right now.
And speaking of quarterbacks, I mean, this is another article that we recently talked about over on The Athletic. It talks about the tiers of quarterbacks. You got tier 5, tier 4, tier 3, tier 2, and tier 1. Obviously, so when you go into the tiers, you got fucking Dick Wad right here, number 1.
Of course.
I don't think he's the best quarterback in the league. I think he's been the most successful quarterback in terms of what is his accomplishments and his wins, Super Bowls and all that. But in pure talent, no, I don't put him as number 1. I think Lamar Jackson is probably the most talented quarterback in the league, him or Josh Allen.
Yes.
But these are definitely the top 4. But what do you think about top 5, Matthew Stafford?
No. I disagree.
I mean, his accolades speak for itself. He's a good quarterback, but still.
He's a good quarterback. He's obviously won a Super Bowl. We'll see about his health this year as far as how that's going to look. There are some concerns there with the Rams, but I actually, if you go back to the top of that list, I actually think Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in the league.
I think Joe Burrow's really good.
Yeah, I in terms of being able to sit in the pocket and make the throws accurately. And I believe Joe Burrow is probably the best quarterback technically in the league. And then I would go Josh Allen second. I would go Lamar Jackson third. I would go Patrick Mahomes fourth. And, I may look at somebody else. I may look at a guy like Jalen Hurts. I mean, I know a lot of people don't, I know a lot of people
I'm not
don't
big
like
on Jalen Hurts. I'm not.
But, man, he came up big last year. I know.
In the Super Bowl, he played after his interception, and he looked like shit. He played a flawless game after that. So I'll give him that. He played great. Now, when you go down to tier 2, Jaden Daniels, number 6, Justin Herbert, number 7, Goff, 8, CJ Stroud, 9, Hurts, Baker, Dak, Jordan Love, and Brock Purdy at number 14. Me, I would have Brock ahead of Love, Prescott, Mayfield, and maybe even Hurts. Jared Goff is there because of his natural abilities to throw the ball deep, but he's not mobile whatsoever. He hasn't accomplished anything in the postseason. He's made it to the Super Bowl, but he played like shit there. CJ Stroud is the NFL's backup Patrick Mahomes. So if Mahomes were to go down or become a drug addict, they'd be like, CJ Stroud! He's our golden boy. Justin Herbert is really, really good. Yeah. Jaden Daniels, I don't believe should be number 6. I think Jaden Daniels is a good quarterback, but I think you still need to see what he does in year 2, playing in a tougher schedule. Remember, the team got to the NFC title game.
They were great.
What that means is that their schedule is going to be a lot harder this season. So I want to see how they, I know they got Deebo Samuel, but that's not going to be the, No.
And they've got a guy who's also disgruntled in Terry McLaurin. So
exactly,
we'll see how that looks. They've got their own Juwan Jennings situation going over there. I think Brock Purdy should be in the top 10 of quarterbacks. I think Brock Purdy should be ahead of Dak Prescott. I don't see him ahead of a guy like Justin Herbert. I don't see him ahead of Jalen Hurts. I know you're not big on Jalen Hurts. I don't see him ahead of him. But maybe not even Jaden Daniels, just because of the threat that Jaden Daniels can bring with his legs and his ability, his confidence level. But I do believe that Brock Purdy should be in that top 10. And he's going to show a lot of people this year, he's really going to be, I think He's going to give himself a chance with his confidence level and his belief in himself. And if they can keep him healthy, God, I'm even nervous about this afternoon. Like, I don't want to see him at all compromised from the left side of that offensive line.
Well, and the thing too is that you got Spencer Burford guarding his blind side. Like, I got your back, dude. Like, I don't know. Do you? Is it really worth it? I don't think so. Maybe we shouldn't go that route. I don't know. But we'll see how this plays out. But I definitely agree that Brock should be ahead of a lot of these guys, especially guys like Dak Prescott and Jordan Love and all them. I don't see them being I mean, they're literally basing it on, at that point, they're basing the list on natural talents. Like, oh, he's got an incredible arm. He's got, he can run with the ball. He can do this. He can do that. But accomplishment-wise, no, it doesn't make any sense to me.
And the other thing are the kind, the hidden attributes that Brock has. The movement in the pocket. The ability to get from one spot on the field to another spot on the field with his legs. The ability to command the huddle that he has. The leadership, the accountability. I mean, this guy, we talk about the San Francisco Giants. They have no accountability. They've been all week. Everyone's asking them what's going on with you guys. And we don't know what's going on. We can't explain this. Elliot Ramos, we just got to figure it out.
He's like, I can't catch a fucking ball in left field, but
he can't catch a ball and he can't throw a ball either. But Brock Purdy gets up there. And we've seen this, Dre. We've seen this last year. We saw it the year before. He gets up to that mic and he owns it. He will tell you when he screws up. He will tell you when it's not good enough. And he takes the brunt of that from others on his team. He will take the bullet. And the players love him. The players respect him. And they will do what they can to protect him. The problem is do we have the guns to protect him?
That's the biggest thing, and we got a lot of youth on this team this season, which came into question recently when talking to Kyle Shanahan on SiriusXM. He talked about his expectations almost for this team going into the 2025 season. We're going to take a listen to that, but first we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to listen to Kyle Shanahan's response to the team. And we're going to react on that. You're listening to the Dre Area Sports Show, Game Day Live, leading up to Niners Raiders today. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Dre Area Sports Show, live on YouTube and X. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe.
The Dre Area Sports Show is brought to you by SeatGeek. Use promo code Dre Area Sports to save $20 on your first purchase at SeatGeek.com. And we are also brought to you by Taryn Roy, the SEO Optimizer. If you're looking to boost your YouTube channel, then check out the SEO Optimizer. Use promo code Dre Area Sports to start your free trial today. Power Brand Systems. If you're looking to build a website for your small business or YouTube channel, then check out Power Brand Systems. Use promo code 300POWER to save up to $300 on your first purchase at Power Brand Systems.
We have audio of Kyle Shanahan, and let's listen to that right now. Oh, I didn't have it up. There we go.
When we got here in 2017, we knew we had a roster that we really had to completely change over. And, in the first year, we changed 10 out of 11 guys on offense. Joe Staley was the only one who remained. And on defense, we did 8 out of 11. So we had a big turnover, and we did it all with we did it all with draft picks. And to me, you don't hit on every draft pick, but we hit on a lot, and we got some difference makers in there, and that kind of became the core of our group from 19 all the way till now. And we brought in a couple different people with Christian and Trent that we did through trades, but everyone else has kind of been homegrown and through the draft. And fortunately, we've been able to keep some of those guys, and that's to me the biggest difference between now and 17 is that some of these guys that have been here are still here, and we got a group of players, whether it's 5, whether it's 7, whatever it is, that are difference difference makers, some borderline Hall of Fame players too. But when you look at the rest of the roster, that's what reminds me a little bit more of 17 and 18, that we need to add a bunch of youth. We need to get guys who are younger, so obviously we can afford to keep some of these players, also having to pay a quarterback and things like that. So whenever that happens, you do depend on young guys. But when you get young guys, it also makes it a little bit more built to last. And we're kind of in between in those areas, because when you got guys like Christian, guys like Trent, Bosa, Fred, I mean, there's a number of them. It's hard to kind of say that you're rebuilding, because you got guys there who can carry you. But in the NFL, it doesn't matter how good those stars are. You got to have the right type of team. And we know we got some young guys that haven't done it yet. But that's what's so big about this year. It's what's so big about camp is we're finding out a lot about these guys every day. And it'll be interesting who ends up being a part of our 53, which to me is more open now than it's been in about 6 years. But even on day one, that's not going to be it. Like week one, I expect our team in week 12, week 13 to look a lot different than it did in week one. And my whole goal is that we get better throughout the year and find a way to hopefully get into those playoffs. And once you get into those playoffs, then you got a chance at anything.
Now, I don't think that, when they say, oh, when you get in the playoffs, you got a chance at anything, to me that makes sense if you're in Major League Baseball. Yeah. If you're in the NBA, but in the NFL, teams don't usually make it all the way. I mean, look at Washington last season. That was a good case of like, hey, when you get in, anything can happen. They got to the NFC title game and got smashed by the Eagles, because there are teams that are just better every year. And the Eagles were damn near unstoppable last year, especially on defense. Everyone thinks they're going to do the same thing again this season. I don't think they will. I think that they're going to be really, really good. But I'm talking about the Philadelphia Eagles, that is. Yeah, but
they're going to win the Super Bowl, though.
No. But what did you think about what Kyle Shanahan said about the team this season?
Well, I really like that he opened up. And I know that the media went crazy on this soundbite this week, and they were talking about how he's giving in. A lot of the media believe that he's giving in now and saying that this is more of a 2017, 2018 team this year.
This is what he said about it. Lowered expectations. Yeah. I mean, it's like, look, I don't know about that. I think what it is he's being honest about the assessment of the team. He's not sugarcoating it. He's not trying to fluff it up. He's not doing the Kook and Kipe, let's talk about Justin Verlander and how good he is for the team.
3,500 strikeouts, like whoop-de-freaking-do.
And he got lit up in that game too.
I think the thing that we all need to take away from this as 49er fans is that we need to be realistic with who we are right now and where we are as an organization. This organization has been through a lot since 2017, since Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch came on board. Okay, they had to rebuild a shitty roster, complete crap that came from Jim Tomsula and Chip Kelly. Okay, it was freaking awful. And the organization had to completely they had to get rid of the shit, and they had to bring in, obviously draft picks. They've done a great job. The draft picks that he's talking about, Fred Warner, George Kittle, Trent Williams, not a draft pick, but obviously, an acquisition. These are Christian McCaffrey in a trade. They have done their work to get this team up to prominence. They did not win a Super Bowl. We all know that. They did not win a Super Bowl. They almost did. They did not. Yeah. But it does not mean that their mindset has changed as far as the direction they are going. People talk about Kyle Shanahan being fired. It's not happening. It's not happening. They will not fire Kyle Shanahan. If Kyle Shanahan chooses to leave, he may leave. But they will not fire Kyle Shanahan because he is so highly coveted around the league that the Dallas Cowboys would fire Brian Schottenheimer in week 8 if they had a chance to get Kyle Shanahan. Okay.
Absolutely.
So they are not firing Kyle Shanahan. And I like how honest he was. He talked about how they had to pay their quarterback. He talked about how they've had to go back to the youth movement again this year and bring in some studs to be able to fill in the roster, because when you do pay the quarterback, when you do pay the shitty receiver, sorry, I'm not a huge fan of Brandon Ayuk. When you pay the receiver that's kind of bleh, and then and you have another receiver that's kind of bleh that wants money, and you've got Trent Williams making a lot of money, and he's old, and you don't know how many years left he has. You need to bring in youth, and that's what I believe the theme of what Kyle Shanahan had to say.
We got a shot here. Brock Purdy getting ready for today's game.
Yeah.
Keeps pausing. I don't know why.
In front of all those drunk and degenerate gamblers at Allegiant Stadium.
Yeah, everyone who was out last night partying until fucking 4 a.m. They're there right now, like hungover, like
Yeah,
Tommy
like,
Huxley chimes in here saying Kyle Shanahan and this injury issue is pissing me off. Whatever they are doing, whatever they're doing regarding health ain't working. Haas. Look. Every team has injuries. If you look over at the Green Bay Packers, their entire receiving core is injured.
I saw that.
They were in a bad shape in terms of their receiving core. So a lot of teams are dealing with injuries. Obviously, we know about the Niners injuries because we follow the Niners, and that's what we talk about. But like I said, dude, these injuries, these guys are not on IR unless you're Andre Dillard. They're not on IR. They're not out for months on end. You know, they do have some serious ones like Kevin Gibbons with the pectoral injury, Mustafa, Ayuk, those guys. But everybody else, like Nick Bosa with a sore neck, they're like, just don't even worry about it. You weren't going to play anyway.
Yeah,
and
Nick Bosa is always nicked up. It's just the way that he's like designed as a football player. Since the moment he came on board with us, he's been nicked up a lot. Yeah. So yeah, I get what you're saying, Tommy. And yes, they have had a lot of injuries over the last few years now, especially since their Super Bowl run. You know, when Brock Purdy first got injured. I can't say though that, okay, so Tommy, if you think about Brock Purdy's injury against the Philadelphia Eagles in 2023 in the NFC title game, that injury had nothing to do with preparation. That injury had nothing to do with anything else other than the fact they didn't protect him. They didn't protect him, and his elbow got smashed as he threw the fucking ball.
Yeah,
okay?
It was fucked.
But like, you can't say the McCaffrey injury, are you really going to put that on Kyle Shanahan? Like, I'm sorry. I mean, I just don't know if you can look at these veteran players and say Kyle Shanahan is responsible for them, these veteran guys that have been in the league for 10 plus years staying healthy. I don't see it.
No, I don't see it either. And, you know, one argument can be made. I know that we were talking about it yesterday that, you know, is it a case where, you know, Kyle Shanahan's offense is so detailed that it's putting a lot of stress on the players to be accurate and make their cuts, to do all that. And is that causing injuries? I don't know. I don't think so. I think that's kind of like, you know, reading tea leaves at that point.
Yep.
But do they got to get better and do they got to get healthier? Yes, they do. But I really don't believe all the talk about it's the stretching and all this shit why they're getting injured. And I mean, you can say that for freaking Juwan Jennings. I hope his calf injury isn't more serious than we think it is. More than likely, he just wants more fucking money, and he doesn't care. Remember, these are players. It's a business. At the end of the day, it's like, do they want to be out there playing on the field? They do, but they also want to get paid. And Tommy, he doesn't want to go out there and get hurt and be like, oh, now they're definitely not going to pay this guy. Go ahead.
And Tommy comments on the neck injury, and he says, what if it's more serious? You're right, Tommy. Like there are situations where the team and the medical staff, they're not going to explain to you all of the details of these injuries. They're going to keep it on the down low for the most part until they have to expose it to us. So you're right. It could be, you know, something more serious, but we have to also think about our team in general, and we have to think about with the depth, and that's the big issue that I'm having. I have a bigger issue with the fact that we are, I think, a little bit behind with our depth chart this year when it comes to the offensive line, when it comes to our defense. We just don't have the same amount of guys that we can plug in that we did have during the serious Super Bowl runs. And part of that is what Kyle Shanahan just said. They've paid their quarterback, and they've had to pay a lot of their big guns, including George Kittle, Trent Williams, Fred Warner. Don't forget about his extension. And Fred Warner was playing, and you want to talk about playing through injuries. Fred Warner was playing last year with a broken ankle.
Yeah.
For almost half the season. So don't sit here and tell me, and I appreciate your passion, Tommy, but don't sit here and tell me that there aren't guys on this team that aren't fighting through injuries on a weekly basis.
Yeah, no, he did play for more than half the season with a broken ankle. And then you saw the difference, but he stayed out there because he had to. He's like, dude, I got to help my team. If he were to have been like, oh, a lot of players would have been like, hey, I'm a big-time player. I broke my ankle. I'm out. And he'll sit out for 3 or 4 weeks before he came back. If he did that with D. Winters fighting injuries, Devontae Campbell being fucking slow and stupid, this team would have been even worse than they were last season. It would have been hard to watch. It really would have.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a better season in terms of our injuries this year. I do have a feeling that McCaffrey is going to be able to stay on the field as long as Garindo, as long as our other backup running backs, Patrick Taylor Jr., as long as they're able to give him that spell that he needs. I think McCaffrey can stay healthy, and I think Kyle Shanahan also. They know now that they have to be cautious. They can't just like we were talking about earlier in the show. You can't just go balls to the wall in week one. It's an important game, but it's okay if we lose week one. It's not the end of the world. It's a road game in Seattle. Like a lot of teams lose in Seattle, with the noise level. So if it means that guys are going to be healthier for the long haul this season, the Niners and Kyle Shanahan, they have to be more cautious, and they might hold out CJ West in week one, even if he is ready to go. You may not see Watkins until week 2 or 3 or until our first home game, because they need to be careful with these young guys that are going to have prominent roles on the team this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you want a bit of good news, check this out. That's Brandon Ayuk making a cut and running a route before the game today. Look at that. He looks pretty good.
Really good.
And look at it. He hopped on one.
When do you think he's going to be back, Dre?
Well, Shanahan said week 6. But, man, if this guy came back earlier, that would be fucking amazing. But I'm thinking probably what he said, week 6 is when he comes back. But they really need his help badly. But I thought that was really cool to see him out there running a route and just getting loose. Fucking love it.
And not just running the route, but making the catch and then going up the field. And, looking pretty decent, although it's one play.
It's one play, but still, it's always good to see. Tommy Huxley writes, but division games are like 2 games in importance.
Yeah, they are, Tommy, and I agree. That's why I'm saying yes. The Seattle game is important, but I don't believe that Seattle is going to be the team that we're fighting for the division this year with. I just don't see that. I don't either. I believe, I think Arizona might even be better, and who knows what's going to happen with the Rams. You just don't know. I mean, they've got a pretty good roster, and October 2nd, a game that I'm actually going to be at, Thursday Night Football, is going to be a big game. And I was hoping Ayuk would be back for that game. Who we got coming off the field now?
This is Ayuk earlier warming up. You see him in the red shirt right there. And you got Nick Bosa standing there showing you his back right now. They're warming up. They're getting ready for the game. Man, I can't wait to watch this game today. I work at 5 o'clock, so I'll get to watch the entire game, then go to work. It's going to be amazing.
You may not want to watch Tyler Mordecai.
He's not even on the team anymore. He got cut. They waived him. Yeah. They waived him for Bradley. Was it Bradley Carter or Carter Bradley?
Carter Bradley the third or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, the son. They're like,
I didn't like
let's
him
go
either.
with him. And look, we could be in a lot worse situations. I mean, you got guys like what's his name? Dylan Gabriel.
Yep.
Dude had 2 turnovers. One was a pick 6.
Yep.
And we don't have that, and that's a good thing. Not to have those kind of problems. Not that problems with your quarterback. But I think we're in a good spot because we got a guy like Mac Jones to back up Brock Purdy. There's Nick Martin showing up to the game wearing his dog slippers. He brought some dogs with him.
Hopefully he looks a little better than he did last week.
Last week he looked pretty bad. He made one good play, but he made a lot of bad plays, and that was tough to watch.
And it's good. It's good that they have it on tape. And Kyle Shanahan talked about it after the game. He said, we're going to go back. We're going to show these guys the mistakes that they made very specifically, and they're going to fix them. So that's, I think, a big part of today's game is looking to see, are these young guys, are some of our new acquisitions, are they learning from some of these mistakes that they're making? And there he is.
Is Brock Purdy getting ready? You see him kind of dab up Brandon Ayuk here in a second, or maybe he already did
strong,
that.
Dre.
He does. Look at Mac Jones is over there. The whole team is getting ready.
Yeah.
And I think having him as a starter today is going to give everyone a lot more energy. Like, yeah, dude, Brock's starting to say this is badass.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that's really important.
Careful with the club there.
Yeah, sorry. For all you guys that didn't know, I freaking shattered my arm.
Yeah, he shattered his arm.
So I had surgery, but I'm good now. So
you should have seen the other guy.
Speaking of injuries, Tommy, you got the biggest injury right here. But I think the thing that really is important this year is that you can feel a confidence within our big guns this year. Every interview that I've heard from Brock Purdy, from George Kittle, from Fred Warner, I haven't heard Nick Bosa this offseason, but at least those three guys, Brock Purdy, George Kittle, and Fred Warner, I feel and hear a confidence that they believe this is a winning team this year.
Yeah.
That they believe that they will get back on track and win at least 10 to 11 games this year. And that's how I feel. I think they're going to win 12 games looking at the schedule. But you never know.
There's the GOAT Tom Brady showing up to the game.
Yeah, he looks like a twig now, man.
Well, he doesn't work out as much as he used to. I don't even think he's with Giselle anymore.
No, he got divorced, and he was like, I think he started dating a few celebrities. Did he date Jennifer Lopez?
I don't know, but you know what, though? That's a typical move. As soon as he retired, she's like, let's get a divorce because you're not the premier quarterback anymore. Like, oh, fuck off.
No, it's actually the opposite. It's that when these guys are playing and they are on the road and stuff, the wives love it because they actually like it because they have their time. If they want to have their side dude, they can have their side dude.
And now he's home all the time. Like, hey, what's up?
And then he comes home and she's like we don't the kids are old enough now where like we don't have to be sitting around with them. Like they're like, going to middle school or high school or whatever. And I don't even know who you are. And that's how people look at each other when they're away from each other and then they come back together. And she's like, you're boring, dude. I'm going to go off and get another supermodel.
Here's Christian McCaffrey signing an autograph for some kid. That's always good to see. There he is. He's there. He's there supporting his team. JJ's there as well. A lot of players are there, so that's always good to see. I'm really excited to see the game today. It starts in about an hour. Going to be a good game. Going to be a good game to see how these players have developed from week 1 of the preseason to week 2 and see if there's any progression. Hopefully not a regression, but players to watch, I think, is Nick Martin is a player we need to watch. D. Winters, again, making sure that he does a good job where he's at. Brock Purdy's going to be out there for one, maybe 2 possessions. And in this day and age, they only have 3 preseason games. So this is probably the one time you're going to see Brock Purdy go out there and he won't play in the next game. So this is it.
I disagree with you. I disagree. I think next week is actually more of a dress rehearsal. From what I've heard, I could be wrong, but from what I've heard, that you might see Brock Purdy for as much as a quarter next week against the Los Angeles Chargers at Levi's Stadium. Because what they do now with the 3 preseason games compared to the 4 that they used to have, it used to be the first game you didn't see much or you saw maybe a quarter. The second game you saw a little bit more, and the third game was the dress rehearsal, and the fourth game you saw nobody. I mean, you saw third stringers. Look at that nice deep ball.
Bam.
And then, but now with the 3 preseason games, they don't play anybody the first game. Second game, you get a taste, and then the third game, because the other reason why they do that is there's a week in between the last preseason game and the season opener on the 6th against the Seahawks.
Yeah.
So they definitely will want Purdy to have some reps.
Absolutely.
Next week.
Well, we'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if he sat out just based on the injuries alone, but I guess we'll wait and see what happens. Guys, that's going to do it for the show. I want to thank everyone who came out. I want to thank Tommy Huxley. Dylan is a Dragon. 49ers 25. Strawberry Reacts. I want to thank everyone who came out in the chat and chatted with us. Everyone who's watching at home. We have 79 watching right now. If you guys can, please like, share, and subscribe to Dre Area Sports. We're live every week covering the latest news in the San Francisco 49ers, San Francisco Giants, and when in season, the Golden State Warriors. But we'll be doing this all year long. And most time we're going to be doing post-game live, which will be the reaction to the Niner games, which will be on Sunday in the afternoon, which I can't wait to do that with Drew. It's going to be a lot of fun. My brother Daniel will probably be joining us as well, so that's going to be a lot of fun. So definitely check that out. And also make sure you tune in every Friday. We'll be doing Cover 3 with me, Sterling from 49ers Access Podcast, and Aaron from 49ers First Takes Podcast. We'll be doing our new show called Cover 3, where we'll be covering the Niners game and getting you ready for the next game as well, and going over all the latest news of the San Francisco 49ers all year long. From Drew, from myself, I want to thank everyone for watching. Drew, you have any parting words for us?
Yeah, today is going to be a fun one. It's going to be a chance for us to see the whole squad kind of out there together. You're going to see a little bit more, again, like we said, you'll see a little bit more starters sprinkled in. I think you might see some defensive players out there. I don't know if you're going to see Fred Warner, but you might. You might see him for a series or two. And it's always a fun atmosphere in Vegas when we're playing the Raiders. And I think that's going to make this you can see just from the videos that we were watching, it looks like there's a lot of energy out there today. So, Niners Raiders is always a fun rivalry, and I can't wait. I'm probably not going to watch the second half because I get a little bored when those guys come in, but I can't wait for the first half of this game today.
That's going to be good. It's going to be really good. Guys, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you want to support the channel, you can do so by becoming a member over on the Patreon. The link is in the chat and in the description below. You get access to news and updates from the Niners, and also you'll get early access to videos and clips that I post on there from our live streams. On top of that, you will get access to articles written by Drew and a few by myself. So definitely check that out. Go over to Patreon and become a member of the Dre Area Sports Show. It's a great way to support the channel, and we appreciate everyone who's already joined up over on the Patreon. Even if you want to join for free, there's a free feature you can join. And right now, in the offseason, you're going to get access to most of that content because it's preseason. So definitely check that out and become a member over on the Patreon, or you can go to my website, which is nicotina.net, which is the home website for all three of my YouTube channels, including Dre Area Sports. Memberships are available on nicotina.net under Dre Area Sports. Another great way to support the channel. And of course, you're going to hear from all of our sponsors. We're brought to you by Power Brand Systems. Use promo code 300POWER. At your first purchase over at Power Brand Systems to save up to $300. They can build you a website for your small business, large business, YouTube channel, social media account, whatever you need, they will do it for you. They kick ass. Marco and Dominic are great guys, and they will help you with all the needs that you need in building a website. We're also brought you up by BetUS. They will match you up to they'll match you up to a bunch. I don't have the line in front of me. But go to BetUS and use promo code Dre Area Sports, or you can go over to SeatGeek. We're also brought to you by SeatGeek.com. Use promo code Dre Area Sports to save up to $20 in your first purchase over at SeatGeek.com. And finally, we're brought to you by Taryn Roy, the SEO optimizer. He's the one who optimizes all my videos and helps generate more views, more traction, all natural, nothing fake. Check out Taryn Roy.
No filter.
He even no filter. He even cuts all my shorts. The guy is amazing. He'll do it for you for an amazing price. Use promo code Dre Area Sports, and he'll start you on a free trial to show you how good of abilities he has in making your YouTube channel grow organically. Guys, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week for another episode of the Dre Area Sports Show with Drew and Dre. Until then, go Niners! And Giants, you better figure it out because the season's coming to an end pretty quick. It's over. All right, we'll see you next time. Peace.
You're listening to the Dre Area Sports Show, live on YouTube and X. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe.
The Dre Area Sports Show is brought to you by SeatGeek. Use promo code Dre Area Sports to save $20 on your first purchase at SeatGeek.com. And we are also brought to you by Taryn Roy, the SEO optimizer. If you're looking to boost your YouTube channel, then check out the SEO optimizer. Use promo code Dre Area Sports to start your free trial today. Power Brand Systems. If you're looking to build a website for your small business or YouTube channel, then check out Power Brand Systems. Use promo code 300POWER to save up to $300 on your first purchase at Power Brand Systems.